Hello, you're all very welcome here to Sharkies on Church Lane in Wexford Town to preview the relegation final and the two semi-finals of the Dominic Smith Electrical Senior Football Championship. We saw the four quarter-finals last weekend gone out, and I'm delighted to be joined by Enda Murphy and Noel Holohan to give their thoughts on what's going to happen this coming weekend. And the first game is on Friday night at 7:30 in Bellefield, and it's the game that really no one wants to be ever involved in. It's the relegation final between Fethard St Mogues and Crossabeg-Ballymurn. First of all, Enda, this happens every week, folks. First of all, Enda, relegation final. You played Crossabeg a few weeks ago.
Yeah, look, so we know about being a relegation final ourselves last year. We gave Crossabeg their only victory by a point over us. Look, they've been very unfortunate. Our side lost 2 games by a point, one by 2 points, and they held Castletown to 1-8, which was the lowest they got. I know Paddy Devericks was late coming back, but look, going into the last group game after getting the victory over us, they would have been hoping to qualify. Didn't work out, obviously, for them against St Anne's, and Anne's prevailed. Look, they got a massive lead on us, 2 early goals. Paddy Devericks middle of the field. You know, he's a strong footballer. He's dominant there, one of the better fielders in the county. I haven't seen much of Fethard, obviously being on the other side of the group, but I like the look of what Crossabeg have. They've an unusual tactic of changing their goalkeeper at the end there, with James White and Ben Turner changing over. But they've some good footballers, and they're unlucky to be what they are, but they're here for a reason.
Noel, your thoughts mainly on Fethard first of all, anyway?
Yeah, well, sure. When I was down at the All-Ireland semi-final of the Junior Football Championship last year, Fethard were in that, weren't they? And like when I saw that, like I kind of said coming out there that Fethard would be in with a good chance of winning the Senior Football Championship, and obviously as it worked out, a few players went away again, and they're probably a team that can't afford to lose 2 or 3 players because the small pick that they have down in that area. Then I saw them against the Starlights inside New Ross, and they were absolutely kicked up and down the pitch, to be honest, that day. But kind of, I'd say they had one eye on the game the week after, because they knew that was really the one they had to win against St James's. And when they arrived on the pitch in St James's, there was 4 or 5 lads back who hadn't played the games before that. Richie Waters, Dara Barden, Mikey Dwyer, et al. You know, there's some good players back for them. And that was a very tough game and a real local derby about it, so. I'd imagine those players didn't pick up any more injuries since our Fethard haven't picked up any more injuries. So that'll give them. They should have their full. Anyone that's here available will be playing, I'd say, with them on Friday night.
And yeah, I was at the Kyle and Earan game that they played, and like they were just. It did seem very much like this team were putting all their eggs in the St James's basket, and it nearly paid off. It was a very close game, and they'll probably be looking back on it thinking, "Geez, that was one we should have won."
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, sure. I mean, St James's were probably dead and buried, I'd say, in the second half, playing against the wind that day, and looked all ends up that they were in the heading for relegation final, but managed to come up with a goal and a point or two at the vital stage there, and Fethard probably were disappointed after that. But as I said, the Fethard that played against St James is probably the real Fethard, and that's what I'll be judging on what I'm predicting for the weekend in that game. And I've seen Crossabeg. I've been lucky to see them a couple of times, and Brendan Keogh passed by us one night here when we were recording before, and Brendan has them set up really well. They play a nice, attractive, open football. Are these the last 2 teams to be promoted to this grade as well, meeting in the final, or in the relegation final as well? So the Crossabeg won 2 years ago. So I mean, you're talking 2 teams that potential to be a lot better, I'd say, than what they are. They shouldn't probably be in this final, I'd say, to be honest, but they are, and it's going to be a good game.
The final word before we get a prediction, and would you think it makes much of a difference to a team like Crossabeg are coming into this off the back of a win?
Yeah, well, sure. Fethard 2 draws.
Sorry, they're not. I should correct myself. They had a win against Bunclody. Sorry, Fethard didn't have a win in the championship yet.
No, and I suppose that one game, if Crossabeg can emulate what they've done to ourselves in the first 15 minutes, I think it would be a challenge for anyone. We couldn't handle them, but obviously as the game went on, we wore them down. As Noel said, playing an open game of football that possibly could suit Fethard the longer the game goes on. But look, you'd rather have a victory under your belt. A bit of confidence, never lost.
So your thoughts then? Who are you going to give the nod to in this one, Enda?
Look, I think if Crossabeg did manage to go out on top, I would probably shout for them. I think to lose by the margins of lost throughout the championship, I think, to be very unfortunate. and I know Fethard are getting a few players back, and they had a dogged game against the Jameses, but I'll go Crossabeg.
No.
Kind of really don't know how to call this one, to be honest. As I said, I liked what I've seen from Crossabeg all along, but the fight and the doggedness about Fethard the last day kind of gives me the inclination like that with those lads back, and that kind of they've all played together that last day, so I'm going to go for Fethard here, and I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's just because of the experience and the inter-county experience of a few other players there that might stand to them when it comes to the crunch, and I go for Fethard by 2 points.
And I'm going to, I suppose, sit on the fence a little bit. We haven't had a draw in a relegation final in a long time, I think, from memory off the top of my head. I think this might be a draw, but if it does go to a replay or extra time, whatever it goes to, I think I'd just about give the nod to Crossabeg, but I think it'll be very, very close on Friday night.